Actually, before we deploy, let me try something. Rayson, I knew there was a reason why I hadn't used the boots yet. Sometimes I like to use these on him. There we go. That's going to be a bit of a help. Now let's move out. So, we've got 13 deployment slots, and there's actually one character that I want to bring to this chapter who I wouldn't normally, for very good reasons. So let's see who we can afford to kick out. Definitely want Soren. I might want to not have Mordecai. Obviously want to try and use Mist as much as I can. I definitely want Tanith here, because I actually want to show off her reinforced skill. Rayson, Janeth, I don't really need Ulki either. Might want to bring Leth back just to build up her support with Jill more. And where is it? Okay, yeah, I will need Thieves too, so I'm going to need Volk. And I kind of want to show off Janeth too, but I might not be able to afford to bring you. I'll definitely be bringing Janeth in the next chapter, don't worry. And I actually need to bring someone. And I'll explain that once I go over the map. So let's view this one. This map is interesting. We'll be fighting in a very narrow, confined space, sort of funneled all the way down here. Also, this is a route map, so we're going to be here a while. We've got some decently leveled enemies. On the Japan-only Maniac mode, at this point, all enemies are promoted, but that's not the case here. We have a lot of long-range tomes on the Sages here. Blizzard is the wind equivalent of long-range magic. Unlike Thracia, it does not put you to sleep here, so be very, very thankful for that. That guy. We also have the boss here, Kayaki. Kayaki, I think is how I pronounce it. He has the Nile skill, so your skills won't work on him. Also, he has the mighty A-ranked Wind Tome. Ooh, it's so scary, having one more might than an iron sword. That's wind magic for you in this game. Now, we also have a few Wyvern Riders down here. Normally, I like to have Janna fight them, but I might need to use Tanith for that here. And there's a sniper. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yep, we all knew this was coming. Shinnen's back. And unlike Gatry, he has definitely joined our enemies this time. So, you might be wondering, is there a way to get Shinnen back? There actually is, as much as you really would want him back. So there actually is. And it's the second biggest guide Dangan in Path of Radiance next to Stefan. This one I actually did look up with a guide back in the day. So, if we go to the conversations menu, we can see that Mist, Rice, and Rolf can all talk to Shinnen. All of the other Grail mercenaries can still talk to him, but only in battle dialogue. Now, of these three, only one of them is the one that we want. And if you've been paying attention to subtle hints earlier in the game, the person we need here is Rolf. Shinnen has exactly one morality pet, and his name is Rolf. I've been hinting to it a little bit earlier on without spoiling it, but we need Rolf here. But Rolf isn't enough. We also need to do something that no sane person would ever think to do to any recruitable character in any Fire Emblem game. So, yeah, it's dumb. Recruiting Shinnen is really, really dumb. Anyway, though, I think I have everything set, so let's go. Just as we begin this chapter, though. Oh no, look who else is back! It's a reunion of traitors. So, it looks like the entire Kilvas army is helping Dayan now. That's not a good sign. And back to generic villain music. I don't know why, but this line here, what could His Majesty be thinking, or some variant of that, it seemed to be in every game in the Fire Emblem series until recently. I know it was in Sacred Stones. Well, I mean, the player does, because we've had dramatic irony cutscenes. Considering this is a route chapter, kill all of you. So, you're all doomed. And again, the moment that you say that, you've sealed your fate. Maybe on Maniac mode you will, but not here. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to fight them if we want to beat this chapter because it's a route map. And here's our first actual introduction to the fact that this guy's on the enemy side. That's kind of funny, that line, because, it pretty much sums up Shinnen in Radiant Dawn. Not here, though. Shinnen joining the enemy was actually alluded to, well, not so much alluded to, but it was foreshadowed all the way back in Chapter 7. Also, we get a new player phase fanfare, because we're officially the Crimea Liberation Army now, not just the Grail Mercenaries. Also, we get this really awesome map theme, Crimea Marches. It's got the same name as the chapter, or it was mistranslated as Crimean Army Saute in, Smash Brothers. Anyway, this is a really great song. We'll be hearing it for the next several chapters, but I love it. I do not mind at all hearing this song a lot. But like I was saying, so Shinnen joining the Daein army was actually foreshadowed much earlier in the game. I have to move Ike over here and get a bit of a demonstration of Raisin's chanting skills, because I kind of want Ike to level up before we get to Shinnen. I want Ike to have a little bit more speed. But back in Chapter 7, he mentioned how Daein, well, specifically King Ashnard, is hiring anyone who's good and giving them positions of power, regardless of their social status. That sounds like something that would really appeal to Shinnen, so it makes sense that he'd consider joining up with the Daein army, so that foreshadowing is pretty nice. Well, that's enough at least. Also, I like to call Ike's critical animation Mini Ether. It's not quite Ether, but it looks similar. We have a new player phase battle theme now for the second half of the game. I personally don't like this battle theme as much as the first one. To me, it sounds more like circus music than battle music. I don't know, what do you think? I personally, I mean, it's okay, but it's definitely not my favorite battle theme in the game. This map theme, though, is great. I love this map theme. I don't really get tired of this one. Even though it plays for, I think from now until the very end of the game, there are only 2 map themes that play. This one and the last one. So, the last one I do get a little bit tired of sometimes, but this one I love. And I'm okay with it playing for this long. Oh hey, I can physic Ike from over here. Benefits of Miss being much stronger. She can physic from much further away. Oh, also benefits of Miss being stronger, she can actually Kanto. Yeah, Kanto terminology is a little confusing because it's also the name of Raisin's special skill. So in Japanese, Raisin's singing skill was called Move Again Song, literally. And it kind of clashed with... In Radiant Dawn, they referred to the ability of cavalry to make a second move after taking an action as just move again or remove. So the localization team must have thought, oh, they have the same name, therefore they're the same thing, so they called the ability for mounted units to move again Kanto in that one, despite the fact that Kanto, the name of it refers specifically to singing, so it was used as the name of Raisin's skill in this game for a reason, and it doesn't really make all that much sense being used about. I mean, I guess it sounds like canter, but, you know, for horses, but... And yet, in the series, fans now refer to it as Kanto, just because of the way it's referred to as in Radiant Dawn, despite the fact that it's a bit of a weird translation. So I've been calling it Kanto for the most part, and first Ether. Yeah, now you can tell why it's Ike's recovery move in Smash Brothers. This predated Smash Brothers by a lot, but Ike always did that sword toss and jumping up in the air when he used Ether. It's probably inspired by the mercenary/hero critical animation from the GBA games. Also, yeah, that is a warrior with a bow, so be careful of flyers. And that is why... Ugh, why is this Ike so slow? I suppose I can go for the Killer Lance. Gatry is doubling more than Ike is. Why is this a thing? Is that his first critical with the Killer Lance? I think it is. Oh yeah, you also might have noticed we actually have a different enemy phase battle theme as well. Unlike this one, I like the new enemy phase battle theme. It's very ominous sounding, and it just gives that feeling of you're going up against a really powerful army. I was about to say bad things about Neffany there, but she made up for it. I mean, this isn't a bad song, but it's still, I don't know. B rank and axes, which isn't bad. Yeah, anyway, I sort of prefer the first battle theme. Gotta be a little careful how we advance, and I need to shove Ike again. Yeah, we got to be a little careful how we advance here, because we are going to have to deal with a lot of Siege Tome users. Ike can't quite beat you, but he can definitely beat you. I really hope Ike's speed curse goes away here, because I would really like him to actually... Wait, no, Ike can't beat you. Yeah, Ike is having issues right now, and I really don't like that. Speaking of issues, I'll need to be careful of Jill if she goes over here. However, I could just have her equip the full guard, and that would mean that she doesn't take effectiveness damage from the bow, which is good. Let's see where Racing can go. Yeah, he actually can go over there. Might want to do this just to put him into a support position for Ike, although I don't think Soren will be able to get that far. I could have used the boots on Soren, but I don't know. I feel like boots on Racing is pretty useful overall. Because if he's moving farther, that means by extension other people can move a lot farther. Yeah, let's... Oh, and I love the reprise of Ike's theme there in this. It's really good. Well, I can at least move you into support range of Ike. Yeah, that's definitely support range. Not an A support, though. And I can definitely afford to spam Physic because I have 2 of them in the convoy, I'm pretty sure. Thanks to that generous priest back in Oliver's army who donated his Physics staff to me. Involuntarily donated his Physics staff to me. So yeah, one other cool thing about Tanith is this weapon she starts with, the Sonic Sword. This is a magic sword, so if you can somehow get Mist up to a B rank and let her use it, she's actually pretty strong, but good luck doing that. Tanith's base magic is not bad, and Wyvern Riders happen to be weak to wind and have terrible resistance, so she is very good at anti-air work. Magical weapons usually aren't all that useful, but they're pretty good for Tanith, because like I said, her magic is pretty decent. And I guess I'll have a go over here. There will be reinforcements from the starting position on around turn 7, and that's what I'll be using Tanith's reinforcements for. I'll be countering reinforcements with reinforcements. It's not often that you get to do that in the Fire Emblem game. I think this is the first time we're fighting enemy warriors too, and that was a good Ether. But I wish Ike did his awesome back turn from his regular critical animation at the end of Ether. But yeah, remember when I said much earlier in the game, in fact the very beginning of the game, that this is about the point where Ike starts to get a lot better? It's not just because of Ether, it's mainly because Ike's promoted class, despite being on foot and sword locked, actually has some pretty good caps and just great stats overall. So from here on, hopefully, if I'm not getting RNG screwed, This is the point where Ike starts getting very powerful. Also, I like how the melee animation with the Sonic Sword actually does hit them with the sword and still activate the wind effect. It's pretty cool. I mean, there was a wind edge in the GBA games. I still find it weird that in FE7 it was a... Well, I was about to call it a DLC-only item. It's effectively DLC. It came from a Mario Kart Double Dash bonus disc that we didn't get in Australia! Yay! So, I never had access to that. Never had access to those 2 secret songs in the library as well. Ah, the joys of being a gamer in Australia until recently. So much fun, right? Speaking of fun, goodbye Bolting Man. Well, Ike's actually being pretty powerful. Let's hope that he gets better with his speed growth, because if he doesn't gain speed now... Because I just realized he hasn't gained speed since, like, Chapter 10 or something? That's insane. Holy. I have never seen this happen before. Ike has a 55% speed growth with this. And his speed has not changed since, like, Chapter 11 or 10. Ah, this is just... I don't even have the words for this. Okay, now everyone's a little bit slow here, but they will start getting better at moving across the map once Racing transforms. I will need to watch out for siege tomes against Racing, though. Yeah, Obligatory mentioned the fact that in this game, the only chant Racing has access to is the one that lets you move again, which is obviously the one you want anyway. In Radiant Dawn, they gave Herons a few extra chants, but in practice, you still use the move again chant most of the time. Its effect is just so useful that the others, as decent as they can be, just aren't quite as good. There's a chant in Radiant Dawn that instantly fills a Lagoose's transform gauge, which in theory is fantastic, but in practice, Herons don't actually learn that chant until really, really late in the game, and by that point, you probably don't need it. I might have the... Yeah, I might do the trick of leaving Stefan behind. Also, I need to be very careful of Rolf here. Don't worry, I am gonna make sure to lure in Shinnon with... I just realized how satisfying it would be to have Jill fight Shinnon, but I'm not gonna do that. Because, as much of a jerk as he is still a recruitable character, and thus I have to recruit him. And, yeah, Tanner's gonna stay back. And here are some ravens. And there's a Darset mention again. If Janeth and Ulki are on the map, they also have dialogue there. Okay, as long as I don't get too close to Shinnon. See, this is the point where I can't really advance very far without provoking Shinnon, no pun intended. I might even, because a lot of people have been asking me why I haven't been using stat boosters, and I have mentioned this before, but it's because I'm saving them for the very end of the game so I can ensure that I get the caps that I need, because nothing is more frustrating when it comes to Radiant Dawn transfer bonuses than having someone, like, 1 away from their cap in a stat. But I might actually have to use speed wings on Ike, because this is just, I've never seen this happen to Ike before. How close? Okay, next turn is time for Racing to be really awesome. His chant animation is a little bit slow, though. So one thing that some people say is that the fact that you can't turn animations off outright, that even the map animations in this game are pretty slow. I mean, sure, that's a thing, but I don't really personally consider it a strike against the game, but that's because I like animations. I do like how Radiant Dawn make it a little bit... I do like how Radiant Dawn made it a little bit more convenient for everyone, though, by making it so that you can actually turn off animations outright, even map animations if you wanted to, but you also have the option to leave them on, so yeah, catered to everyone there. We're already equal numbers with them, not counting the ravens. Yeah, these Raven soldiers here, and they actually have a proper Kilvas emblem, so I don't know why Oliver's troops use the Dayan emblem. Guess they couldn't be bothered to make a Benyon one. But the Kilvas troops are some of the only non-feral Lagoos that you fight from this point in the game onwards. So that whole thing about Chapter 15 teaching you how transform gauges work, it's not really all that useful of a lesson, because you just don't fight Lagoos that have transform gauges very often. And there's Blizzard. I won't be able to shut that down for a little while. I think Blizzard looks pretty nice in this game, though. It's interesting how ice magic tends to get lumped in with wind in most games in the series. Well, I mean, except Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And it's Raisin Transform time! Here is where things get really awesome. But we have to be careful of Shinnen. Because I do want to lure him down there. But I also don't really want him to attack Ike before I'm ready. Might even want to lure him with Titania, actually, because Titania does have a special boss dialogue with Shinnen. I'll have to unequip her weapon, though, because otherwise she might actually kill him. And, yeah. As much of a jerk as Shinnen is, I still don't think he deserves to die. Also, enemy bishops are just kind of pathetic. Is this the first time we're seeing a regular light tome? I think it might be. No, I still think this sounds like circus music. Okay, Titania, go here and unequip that. Let me just quickly check something. Okay, that's weight 12, so you're losing like 3 speed. Oh, Ike's gonna double you anyway. As for why I'm concerned with whether or not Ike doubles, well, you'll find out. I'm about to summon it, no. Anyway. Alright, this is where I need to be very careful of Rolf. 25 attack, and you have 2 resistance. Okay, change of plans. I actually need to kill this guy before I move Rolf in. So... But I also really, really don't want Shinnen to attack Jill, because then Jill will destroy him. Which is why I need... Let me see if I can do this. Soren needs to head down here, I think. Okay, Racing can go in there. Jill needs to be 1 space over in order to do what I want her to do, which means... Let's just set up everyone. Thankfully, you don't have a lot of range. Actually, let me check something. Yep, Gatry can go down here. And Rolf can go... That should be fine, right? Yeah, that should be fine. Rolf can go here. And now to show off why Racing is amazing. This. Quadruple chant, go! 4 people get extra movements. And I'm just going to go here and use a close range only weapon just to quickly take you out, because, again, Rolf can't afford to get hit by this. If Rolf is promoted, you don't need to worry here, but because my Rolf isn't, this is a bit of a problem. We'll see who Shinnen goes for next turn. Normally I'd have Ike run in. Oh yeah, that Shade Scroll. So, I forgot to mention this, but this droppable Shade Scroll from that one Sage, this is a hard mode exclusive. You won't get that on normal or easy. I alluded to that all the way back in Ileana's bio, but yeah, that is hard mode exclusive. One of the few hard mode exclusive items, and I probably shouldn't equip that just in case Shinnen decides to go for you. But yeah, one of the few hard mode exclusive items in this game. Also, obviously, Provoke doesn't do anything while Shinnen is an enemy. Because, you know, you're a human player and you can't be manipulated by things like that. It would be pretty annoying if it worked like a Final Fantasy, or actually more like Xenoblade, because Xenoblade has a lot of enemies that have taunt skills, but if it worked like a taunt skill there and actually forced you to target Shinnen, I kind of thought you'd do that. Well, they'll find me, alright. They won't actually hurt me, though. Yeah, Shinnen's base strength is pretty awful at this point. Now, I'm probably going to have to rescue Rolf, because he's going to be in blizzard range of Shinnen at this point. Yeah, I wanted to lure Shinnen a little further, but I had to get rid of the bolting guy, otherwise Rolf would have been in danger. Here's a Night Killer. Jill, however, is not a knight. That was Adept, right? Yeah, that was Adept. Just first time I'm seeing that, I guess. Cancel makes sort of like a purple aura appear on the enemy when it activates. I love when someone levels up out of dodging something like that. Yeah, Jill's Strength Curse is well and truly gone. Also, Jill's magic is not that bad. She's actually pretty decent at using magic weapons. Although, I'm going to need to get rid of some of those generals to get Rolf in there. And actually, Rolf either needs Racing or more... or someone to shove him, is what I meant. I meant to say more movement, but that will be attained by shoving. I need one crit and one regular attack. Let's do this. Come on, Nephany. Have to get rid of these enemies. And now I say that, she's not going to crit either of them, is she? Of course not. I should probably save that for when she's in Wrath range, actually. I still like this reprise of Ike's theme here. It's always nice when a tune from earlier in the game comes back later on in sort of a different tone. We look exactly alike, except our colors are different. There's something that I want to mention about the design of this map overall, but I can't say it just yet because of, I just want to focus on getting Shinnen right now. And making sure Rolf gets out of here okay. Because, right. Yeah, I, in fact, need to have... I'm actually going to need to do this. Racing can get in the middle of them all, right? Yes, he can. Good. I still have to clear these guys out. There's also a Lagoo's Lance over there. And I can't shove Soren because he's in the corner. I kind of want Soren to fight one of these things, but... oh well. Let's see. In fact, maybe I should do this right now. I will definitely need to clear out these enemies now, because otherwise Shinnen is going to just destroy Racing, and we can't have that. Let's... yeah, that should be good enough. I think we'll be seeing reinforcements pretty soon, too. Well, you're critting with the Killer Lance. I do plan to keep a save file here and show off all of Shinnen's special conversations. Okay, that's 19 attack versus 2 resistance. Rolf will actually survive 1 hit from Blizzard, although does he get doubles? Well, not with 10 weight, he doesn't. I need to leave room for Ike, though, but let's actually... no, actually, let's kill this guy first. I really hope Ike is able to do this. I probably should have given Ike a better sword. You might see what I'm alluding to here. And, might as well keep that for now. So, firstly, let's go ahead and have Rolf talk to Shinnen. So, as was kind of alluded to all the way back in Chapter 9, Shinnen was the one who taught Rolf archery. As you can see in an early map where Shinnen and Rolf's map models were very close to each other. Rolf is basically the one person in the entire world who Shinnen isn't a jerk to. And that's the key to getting him back here. Not if I have anything to say about it, because we have to do step 2 of this. So talking with Rolf is step 1. Step 2 is the guide, dang it. We have to now have Ike defeat Shinnen in combat, which is normally the last thing you want to do with a recruitable enemy in a Fire Emblem game. But it's what we have to do to recruit Shinnen. And admittedly, it's kind of satisfying that even to get him back, we still have to beat him up. I was really hoping for that. So you'll know you did it right if this happens. Shinnen does vanish from the map though, and he isn't recruited yet, so you might think you screwed something up, but you actually didn't. Also, Brave Bow, which is not going to be useful for anyone at this point, unfortunately. Rolf should be okay. Let's just check out your ranges. I think you're all fine. Soren hasn't done much this chapter, unfortunately. So I may need to change that soon. But yeah, I consider that to be the second biggest guide, dang it, in this game, even though the individual steps are at least a little bit hinted at. You need to do a bit of deduction to figure out that Shinnen taught Rolf, but it doesn't take that much work if you put 2 and 2 together. It's kind of obvious from the way Boyd acts towards him back in Chapter 9, and how Rolf is obviously lying about naturally picking up the bow. Actually, I just realized I'm going to need to make sure that I don't end this chapter early before getting those chests. Because there's actually something pretty good in one of those chests. Now, I hope that my maths was right with Rolf, because if not, I'm going to be pretty embarrassed. Yeah, I thought he'd be getting hit here. Well, he dodged anyway. But I'm pretty sure that still wouldn't have killed him. And the Cavaliers are now running in. And reinforcement, and more crows. So this is going to go on for a little bit longer. None of you are going to be transforming, though. And we've got a couple back here. But I think now is when we're going to enlist some help. First, though... Do I kill either of you? No, I do the exact same amount of damage. Well, at least I can potentially crit. There is more reinforcements that come from down here, though. And I did not crit. So, it's time to call upon the Holy Guard. Here are Tanith's 3 Holy Guard reinforcements. The Falcon Knight is pretty good for this point in the game. The regular Pegasus Knights, I mean, their stats are alright, but they're still really only good as lures. But hey, NPCs on our side, and it's still really fun to basically counter reinforcements with reinforcements. Not often in a Fire Emblem game you get to do that, like I've said several times. Okay, Soren needs to fight something. He really does. At least he's got a pretty great dodge rate with Ike's support. So the thing about the design of this map that I wanted to mention, I like how the cramped, confined hallways of this place make it easier to group people into groups of 4 for Raisin to chant for. I feel like they designed it this way intentionally, just to make sure that the player knew how to use Raisin. Or, you know, at least the player was able to learn how to use Raisin here. I just think that's pretty cool. No damage, even with Weapon Triangle. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should also be ashamed of yourself because of that. Even with Speed Screwage, Ike's still being pretty good right now. But I could really use a bit more speed, Ike. Just saying. Neffany actually has not that good experience for this point, so I might actually have you go... What's your resistance looking like? Ah, it's 11. It's pretty fine. Go with the javelin, and... Yeah, I didn't bring any extra chest keys, unfortunately. And now Rolf should just go. And I want to stop fighting things with Jill at the moment, unless I really need to, because she's kind of overpowered. Ah, in fact, I could actually do that, though. I could have Nephany rush a little bit forward. Might as well do that, I guess. I mean, I could try having Mist fight something, but I doubt it will end well. Don't want her getting attacked by the Cavaliers. Mist does get a pretty good amount of speed and luck, though. Our ward broke. Oh no, my award! Sorry, that was terrible. Just forgot that it just called it our ward, and not like the ward broke or something like that. Anyway, I thought Gagey wouldn't really be able to get anywhere. Nephany, on the other hand... Yeah, Tornado is hitting kind of hard, but I'm not really all that worried. In fact, I might actually just want to do this. Lol, my ridiculous accuracy against you because you're really, really weighed down by that. No, I see that your javelin and crit animation is still as cool as it was as a soldier. I mean, there are quite a few promoted enemies to fight at this point in the game. I don't know. I like the idea of everything being promoted from this point on. It would make the game a little bit more challenging. Though, as I've heard, Maniac mode isn't really challenging. It's more like, just, I don't know. I haven't heard good things about Maniac mode. It's mostly just adding more enemies and just making things a bit more tedious. Don't really know if there's anything Mist can do here. Not really, and she's the only one who hasn't moved, so yeah. And I'm going to be stealing my kills. Annoyingly, this is not Radiant Dawn. If this was Radiant Dawn, the reinforced skill would be even better, because you wouldn't even need to worry about these guys stealing your kills, because every amount of experience that yellow units get in that game goes straight to bonus experience. Here, though, not so much. And the Falcon Knight is actually pretty effective. Like I said, at this point, it's actually better than Tanith. But that will change quickly. Not that I'm really planning on using Tanith that much, I just find that she's a great filler to have. Oh no, light magic is so scary! It's not much better in Radiant Dawn, unfortunately. I wish it was, but I'm surprised you attacked them with the Javelin. And now you will realize the true suckiness of Tornado. I mean, well, that was alright damage, but still, it's just... For an A-ranked magic spell, it's pretty underwhelming. That reminds me of that one random boss who, in FE4 Chapter 9, I think it was? Yeah, it was Chapter 9. He actually had to have minor Force Eddy blood, because that's the only way his class could use Tornado in that game. Because, yeah, Holy Blood affects weapon ranks in FE4, and weapon ranks never increased in that game. They were entirely tied to both Bloodline and class. That was the first game to actually have weapon ranks, though, not just a weapon level stat that went up with level ups. I always found that stat kind of weird, especially since there were some characters who excelled in only weapon level and nothing else, like Mathis. Most of them were just extremely awful. But anyway, I just always found it weird how they kind of implied that that guy might actually have heroic lineage, but the real reason was just because they needed... it was just because they needed to have him use Tornado. You have a bow. I just realized that. That is not good. You have an axe. That is very good, though. I'm not trying to reference Lord of the Rings here. If I remember correctly, Tornado was actually pretty decent in FE4, but here it's kind of not the best. You know, he's probably just going to go for one of the Pegasus Knights, but I don't know. Just to be safe. More reinforcements! Also, I didn't even need to worry because he's completely trapped now. Aha! How do you like being on the receiving end of ambush spawning reinforcements, AI? I love that so much. And here we see another use of Raisin's abilities. Getting to chest faster. But yeah, Tanith can only summon reinforcements twice per map. Silent Staff. In most Fire Emblem games, I don't find the Silent Staff to be all that good because most enemies that you want to be hitting with Silence, i.e. the magic users, they tend to be the ones who... seriously, Ike? They tend to be the ones who just can't get hit by Silence at all. And in this game, there just aren't that many strong enemy mages to the point where you'd really want to use Silence. Suppose you can try silencing long-range tome users. Probably should have Kanto'd Ike, but that doesn't really matter. And yeah, here you're seeing the confusing terminology with Kanto. See, Ike, 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 Ike! Your sister is doubling things and you're not. Learn from her. You stupid, stupid RNG screwed Ike. Okay, yeah, that is weapon triangle advantage, but... I kind of want to choke this point with Gatry. Which reminds me of the Doga will choke this point meme, which apparently originated from a certain Let's Play, I think. I still like what they did with his English name, though, because I only realized after a bit that Doga is guard or backwards, which is guard in Japanese, so... Draug, guard backwards. And it works even better in French, where his name is like Edgar or something. But... Wait a minute, what am I thinking? I'm just going to use... The Night Killer only does one more than your HP. Yep, Path of Radiance effectiveness bonuses, everyone. I think in Radiant Dawn they did restore it to ×3 might rather than ×2 might, which also made crossbows hilariously stupid. Yeah, those were fun. Those were really fun in Radiant Dawn. You know what? Considering that there's no risk of anyone else attacking Mist, let's actually show Mist fighting. Her terrible skill stat does hold her back a lot, though. Oh yeah, that's the Nile skill. That's cancelling Miracle, isn't it? That is actually pretty bad. Nile is one of those skills that's a lot better when the enemy has it than when you have it, at least in this game. I'll save talking about that skill until we have access to it, because we will in not too long of a time. That's exactly enough, let's go for that. Because L-Fire has a cooler animation than regular fire. And that's cancelling my Adept. Yep. The terrifying tornado spell, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you have to say for yourself, is it? Not, I completely underestimated Ike, I'm an idiot. And everyone's leveling up decently well. Soren's got some pretty good speed too, which is nice. I think his average at 2020 is actually 25, so I definitely have better than average speed on this Soren. And unfortunately, I have to wait for these ravens here to get to us, because it's a route chapter. Don't you just love route chapters? Yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent towards route chapters. There are some route chapters I like and some that I really, really don't. It depends on how exploitative they are with reinforcements. Because I really, really don't like... There are a couple of Birthright chapters that are just like, oh yeah, let's just throw bajillions of reinforcement, and you moved out of position to trap that guy. But looks like they may have trapped him again, unless Kanto is dumb. Are you going to be done with Kanto? You are, you idiot. So yeah, them being NPCs, they are pretty stupid, but they're good lures at least, and they can actually store reinforcements quite well. That's the second Falcon Knight. I mostly just want to show off the reinforcements here. They have a very useful purpose in the next chapter, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Okay, triple Raven and quadruple Raven. Quintuple Raven. At least that means the Ravens over there will be getting to us faster. You're going to do no damage, aren't you? Thought so. Gatry at this point is kind of invincible to everything. I alluded to this earlier in the game, but Gatry's defense is pretty much overkill. You only need defense in the low 20s, even by the end of the game, to take no damage from nearly everything, and Gatry has defense like around 25, 26 at this point. He does get hurt by magic, though, so he's not completely invincible, and he does have bad movement, obviously. But we're almost done with this. The only enemies left are those crows. Or ravens, whatever you want to call them. Alright, I suppose I'm going to need to move somebody if I want to get Ike in there. This might still miss. Gage usually has better skill than this. No, it did the exact opposite of missing. And Javelin crit animations in general are pretty cool looking in this game. Forgot about that. Though I still think one of the funniest critical animations when it comes to ridiculous spinning is, Warrior, well, both Warrior crit animations, but especially the one, might as well use this. I'm not going to get much mileage out of the Regal Sword, for much longer. But the Axe crit turns them into Taz the Tasmanian Devil, and the bow crit is just kind of funny because they pull the bowstring way further than it should go. It looks like they're going to snap the bow and... Are you serious?! I don't even know how this is happening! I think Ike has officially got more screwed than loot in my Sacred Stones run. I always just get the weirdest RNG. It's just Loot at least had like a 45 or 40 speed growth, so it wasn't that fantastic, but Ike has 50 and he's using a band that raises speed. And he's gone, I think, over half the game without ever gaining speed. I'm just in complete disbelief at this. And that's the reason why I wanted to loot all these chests, because the Wrath Scroll is great to have. Wrath is actually pretty useful for Ike as well, for certain reasons. There's a strange property of Wrath that I feel is probably a glitch, but in this game, Wrath... It's kind of a funny thing to say, but Wrath negates critical negation. And I feel like it maybe works that way because critical negation lowers your crit rate down to 0, and it does so before Wrath takes effect, so it gets lowered to 0, and then Wrath raises it back up to 50. That's at least how I think it works. Now, I kind of hope Titania doesn't kill these. I just want to weaken them for everyone else. Don't know why I'm moving left. She's not really doing much, but oh well. And I might as well just have Grayson chant for Rolf. Or not, I want him to go a little bit further. Stefan didn't do much this chapter, but it's fine. His level's already high enough, as it is. Alright, you. I probably should set you to halt just so you don't waste time, but doesn't really matter. Have any of the Holy Guard died yet? I don't think they have. But anyway, we're almost done here. Hopefully. Yeah, that's not a lot of damage. I wonder if I can get it done this turn. Let's see. Raisin can go all the way up there, so I can potentially get 3 people if I go here, here, and... Yeah, that could work. Firstly, let's see. Yeah, I might as well get you down here to do something. Or, yeah, Gatry can get over there. But he can't actually kill you. I don't think I'll go for the Killer Axe, because if I do that, there's a pretty good chance that Cretania will strike again, and I don't really want that. Because she's still a little above the rest of the group. These Ravens are pretty terrible. Hopefully this hits. I probably should have given the Lagoose Lance to Nephany or someone, because that would have helped here. And I definitely won't be using it in the next chapter, for reasons, which you'll see soon enough. Oh, hey, another coin. Do any of you have stealable items? You do, but I'm not getting Volk down there in time. That's enough, but you might miss. So let's just go for that. Also, we're now staying on the top of a snowy mountain, even though we're just on a road heading out of a fort. The battle backgrounds can be a little bit dissonant sometimes. Also, this mountain background gets used a lot in this game. You'll see it later on, looking exactly the same, except without snow. I might not even need racing. Yeah, I might not even need racing here. Just finishing up the last few stragglers, and bemoaning the fact that Ike hasn't gained speed. Like, I might even need to use the Speedwing now, because it's just, really, why? I don't even know what's happening. Can't even use Tornado yet, actually, but not that you really want him to. And only one enemy. So, who gets the honor of doing this? I might as well move Jill into a position where, in case somehow Ike isn't able to do it... Actually, yeah, he doesn't double. I can't have Ike do this. Can't actually have Mist do it either. I could try an Ike Mist team up. And have Jill in place just in case one of them fails. I still can't believe Mist is doubling things, but Ike isn't. I hope you've realized by now just how good racing is, though. Oh, right, Ike can't even get in there. Unless, Jill rescues Soren, but then... I don't know. 8 times 2. Let's try this anyway. Guess it's our first time seeing a non-transformed Raven fight. Well, not exactly fight, just stand there flapping. I still feel bad for fighting non-transformed Lagoos, seeing as they can't really defend themselves. I really, really don't like this. Well, let's just see if I can do it. Well, he can, so that's at least something. Just want to do this just to remove this even slightest chance that Ike might fail. And he crit anyway, I thought he would. And that should be it. Now, if you talk to Shinden with Rolf and had Ike beat him in combat, we'll get an extra scene at the end of this chapter. Yep, the recruitment theme doesn't play until now. It's a really jerk move. You might just restart thinking Shinden's gone, but no, he isn't. It's kind of like Nina in Fire Emblem Fates, how the game really leads you to believe that she's dead, but no, she isn't. You actually had to fight her to recruit her. There aren't many characters in the series who, I'm sorry, I have to stop now because I have to mention Little Lord Ike. I still call him that every now and then. Ike will never live that nickname down. That's his name now. He is now Little Lord Ike. Anyway, there aren't many people in the series that you have to actually fight to recruit. Well, I mean, that applies to everyone except Rolf. And Grail. Shinnon actually kind of admired Grail. Talking you to death is just what we do to recruit people in Fire Emblem. Well, let's hope that he doesn't win this. I mean, given his stats, he obviously won't. Unlike Gatry, I'm actually giving Shinnon a separate bio for his rejoining, because he's very, very different now. Remember back in Chapter 3 when I said that Shinnon was a very hard character to talk about without giving away spoilers? This is why. He doesn't betray you or anything, but he does leave your party for a very long time and is almost worthless by the time he comes back. This is why I didn't recommend relying on him much early on or giving him much experience. The problem is that while Shinnon's base stats were decent for the early game, they're really terrible by the standards of Chapter 18. In fact, his provoke skill is a major liability now. You don't want enemies ganging up on someone with only 9 defense. Also, I can finally explain what I really meant when I said Shinnon has great growth rates, but he doesn't have much of an opportunity to use them. Early in the game, he's so overleveled compared to the enemies that he will barely be getting much experience and will be very unlikely to level up at all. Later in the game though, his base stats are so terrible that he's not going to be killing much and thus is going to have a very hard time leveling up at all. He does technically become kind of good if trained, but snipers are inferior to bow-using paladins in this game, so it's not really worth it. Well, actually, it might be worth it for one reason that I felt I needed to mention here too. Shinnon is extremely good in Radiant Dawn. I'm talking only sniper in the series who gives Takumi competition levels of good. Because of that, you might want to use him in Path of Radiance just for the transfer bonuses alone. However, good luck doing that. You'll need either a lot of bonus experience or a lot of luck, because training Shinnon at this point in the game is pretty difficult. Like I said, his base stats were great for Chapter 3, they're really, really bad for now. And obviously Shinnon loses horribly because he's not the commander next time. Seems like Ike's still getting used to the whole general thing. I mean, it is pretty stressful leading an entire army. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Ah yes, Nasir was kind of our inside man in Gallia as well. This means everyone's probably going to be marching on Dayan soon. Let's just hope that Gallia joining doesn't cause problems in Benyon. Well, this is a Fire Emblem game, so the answer is yes. So seeing a bit of where Ike gets his philosophy from. Oh, don't talk like that just yet. Ah, yeah, we had a feeling she'd be coming back. We know from earlier in the game not to tell her you failed. That's very hazardous to your health. Yeah, Soren definitely has his secrets. I think Soren's figuring something out. So, we'll see where that ends up going next time.